Yeah, hi there, I'm Justin Coffey. We have a new album coming out this Friday, the 13th. Justin Coffey and the Foolish Things, Never Not Hard. And we've already got a single that's released, Blind Spot. But there's a total of 10 songs on this album. We'd love it if you download it and take a listen to it. Yeah, so Never Not Hard is a special song to me. It's unusual on the record in that it repeats itself on the verse, which is the only song that does that. And it very much does that on purpose. It also has a church choir. It also has a church organ. And so all these things are there on purpose. It's a song that I wrote in response to what I think is some religious weirdness, where we tell people from a position of authority and power, from lots of different religions do this, that if they'll follow the recipe, then everything will work out for them. And I think that that's a mean thing to do, and because it's not true. I think Never Not Hard is the way things are, and it's that way by design. And that's how we mature, that's how we grow, that's how we discover love. And a lot of that happens through pain, hardship, suffering, etc. And so to tell a group of people that if they're experiencing those things, that they're wrong, is mean. And so I wrote this song in response to all of these religious leaders doing this. Not Okay isn't attached to anything religious. It's more about the idea of compulsion and desire, and some of our compulsions leading us to some things that aren't healthy or helpful. And so specifically I was thinking about one of my friends that struggles with alcohol, and some things that had happened in his life where chaos was the result of addiction. And so I'm Not Okay is kind of my telling of that story of what it's like to struggle with desire and addiction and compulsion, and that it's okay not to be okay, that's part of the human experience in some ways. And so instead of attaching identity to those things, doing the opposite, like seeing those things for what they are, and not letting them become who you are. Greatest influence on me probably with these songs would be Ben Harper and Blind Melon. That's what I was listening to a lot of when I was writing these, and so that definitely crept in. Not like it's derivative. None of these songs are those songs, but they definitely have an influence from them in how they're arranged, the instruments I chose, and the way that the sounds work together. Yeah, Blind Spot for me is about the idea that we all share a unique, not many of these, but one in particular, a shared blind spot, is that we all approach one another from the angle that we think that you see it the way I see it. And so I'm approaching this conversation under the pretense that I think you see, feel, hear everything the exact same way I do. And that's impossible. There's no way that I see it the way you see it, or that I feel it the way you feel it, or that I've experienced it the way you have. And so to operate all the time in all of our conversations, whether they're political or religious or personal, as if the other person's starting from the same place you are, I think is utter ridiculousness. And so Blind Spot is kind of my way of saying, we don't see it the same, and we should consider the other. And so Blind Spot's my song to remember to consider. That I don't see everything the way you do, and that's okay. I need to work towards seeing it the way, from a perspective where I can see where you're seeing, or at least try to. And so, and that's what I want from others. I think that Never Not Hard captures the overall theme. I mean, when we're talking about It Ain't Funny, I wrote that song when Courtney and I were going through a divorce. When I'm thinking about The Color and the Shape, that's a song that's about my friend Country, who was leaving a situation where he had been homeless, and him discovering beauty in a new way as someone who was housed. And so all of these songs, pretty much every single one of them, you can't have it same. All of these songs are about some struggle and some difficulty, and how there's hardship, and how those things are part of this experience. and that we can embrace them. We don't have to be afraid of them. They can be handled. They won't explode. And so this is my attempt at putting those things out in front of people, saying, hey, try and handle these two on your own. Because I think the more we handle the things that are hard, the more that we transform into who we actually are as people. Yeah, all the harmony background vocals were sung by two people. Lacey Saunders was the female vocalist for the whole record, all 10 songs. And Jacob Buchanan was the male background vocalist for the entire record as well. It's definitely more of a country record, and I'm not just saying that by today's standards. Because of the instruments we chose and the arrangements, and even the tempo of the songs, was intended to be more of a country and country swing, an older sounding country, even with the horns. And so we went that route. I'd say my primary country influences in this order would be Dwight Yoakam, Waylon Jennings, Lefty Vazelle. In terms of the style of music, it's very different than general genre, which is primarily electric and electronic. And so this has been more of an acoustic record in nature, in terms of acoustic guitar, classic guitar, all of the horns, the trumpet, both saxophones. We've got acoustic piano, and then we've also got some organ, and we've got some, a Moog and a bass. So there's a little bit of everything, but it's definitely more arranged away from an electronic feel towards